It's in your yard. I give him some more additional.
All right, at 6 o'clock, let's go ahead and get this committee rolling.
Here.
Welcome, September 7th of the Pool and Recreation Center Committee meeting here. We will go ahead and start with the roll call. Oh, that's me. Matt Stam.
Present.
Chris Evans.
President accounted for.
Sean Miller. Corey Gibson.
Here.
Danny Park.
Here.
Roger Stewart.
Here.
Andy Quant. Tina Payne. Janet O'Donnell.
Here.
Blake Pennington.
Here.
Neil Owens. I am here. Brent Clark. Richard Ranzow. All right. Moving right along to the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you very much. Moving right along to item number 4, approval of the agenda. Do you have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Evans. Seconded by Stam as they arm wrestle over there as who got which one. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. All right, updated sales tax revenue. Could you zoom in on that, Matt? Sorry. I can't read that. I don't got my bifocals in here. All right, as you see on the screen here, the most recent one that we received was in August. Came in at $78,388.88. So trending back to what I think is going to be closer to normal. July, I'm not kind of sure what the dip was. Might have been the holiday area or what have you. But we are kind of anticipating seeing that 70,000, 69 to 70,000. Plus range consistent now that Builders First Source is online. Builders First Source is doing great business, and so encourage you to shop local there. They have a lot of opportunity and merchandise and things you can buy for all your home renovations and new home needs. That's a great plug. And also too, as you see, our grand total is just over $1 million, $1,011,042.42. Right now, what we had originally projected was about $533,328. So things are trending nicely. Any questions on item number 5 on the updated sales tax? All right, hearing none, moving right along to new business. Turn right over to SJCF and Matt. We worked hard to get his data renderings, and it's much easier to just showcase that. And so anyone 5 watching, thank you for the 5 watching at home. I will turn it over to that screen so then you too can follow along with us on these really cool renderings that they have prepared. So Matt.
Yeah. Thank you, Brent. We'll start with just a couple still images. We'll go through those. We'll get to the 3-dimensional model. And when we get in the model, we'll be able to turn it around and kind of show you in more detail to you or whatever you have questions for. We're on the cusp of getting this thing in the town board's hands for final pricing and GMP and getting the project into construction. So this is probably our last meeting in that regard. So any comments that you have, we can get those. We can get those kind of.
All the mics.
I can back up. No, we'll. Get your thoughts on that tonight, and then integrate whatever concerns you have into the design before we get it to the County Gordon here shortly. So I'm going to turn this over to Gary Holler, our project architect, and he's going to walk you through it, and then just interrupt us if you need to with any questions.
Please do. Go through the north end first, because that's something that you've seen several times. We are expanding the deck on the north side there. You'll see some grand arches. That's all concrete. We're installing 4 new shade structures. 3 of those will be rectangular, and then one kind of an umbrella shape on the right-hand side. We'll be providing some gathering spaces for lounge furniture and then some large stone furniture seating. Stone. The large arch areas will have rock infill outside of them between them and the fence, and then we'll have some small plantings that kind of fill in that gap too. Any questions on the north end before I run to the south? I don't think that's anything you haven't seen yet. Moving on to the south, that's a little bit different. We moved the splash pad to just outside the diving area and over I think there's a sand volleyball pit there now. There is still going to be a fence between the splash pad and the diving area, so we won't have little kids just running out there into the deep end. We are going to keep that existing fence, which isn't shown on this diagram, but is to the right of that large shade structure that kind of divides that large shade structure from the diving area. So that fence will stay there. And when I say keep it there, we're replacing it. It'll be replaced with the new vinyl covered fence that will be around the whole facility. The entrance to the splash pad will be just between those two yellow shade structures. They're existing. Thought that was a good idea. They come from Brent, actually. Also, we'll have a gate from the south there. It's kind of hard to see off the existing sidewalk. And then we'll have one also over on the east side that kind of takes advantage of the parking areas plus walking in from the neighborhood.
So this is taking over the volleyball.
A large portion of it.
Okay.
The path to the splash pad will be kind of a playful hexagon shape. They kind of go off of your all that hornet nests. Yes. Anybody confirm the hornet nests are actually?
Yes.
Okay.
It's been confirmed many times. Also be on Facebook Warriors.
Very good. We will be maintaining ADA access in case anyone asks. They are going to be over 5 feet, a 5-foot path there. So outside of that will be a rock infill area. We'll also have a mound turf area to the down and to the left of the splash pad. And then there's two circular gathering areas with shade structures off to the right. Oh, this will also be, we can expand this later as we see fit. So once the pool gets filled in, that can be expanded easily into that area. I think someone asked about the existing landscaping around there. I think we want to, as much as we can. Now, construction is a little bit dirty and messy, so we may lose some of that, but try to go back with some simple type growies plants around there.
So that picture is different than the one that was sent out here. So this one's the current one, correct? Okay.
This got changed yesterday,
Yep. Yeah, the one in the packet, if you look at that path is really neat and cool and everything, and also very long and very expensive. So looking at trying to, scale that back a little bit, there's no reason to have necessarily that come from the existing, kiddie pool area that's extra. That's quite a distance. And so we're trying to look at more cost-effective measures. Maybe sliding that over and then just having that in between the two shade structures that are existing. And then that also then too opens up the area like we had visited with Blake of maybe having that existing kiddie pool area be available for party rentals, or if we add another shade structure or something there, that's more open space for that purpose. Yeah.
So it's being filled in?
Yes, absolutely being filled in. And it was either way.
Yeah. Yep. This is not going to be deck space.
I have two other things to mention. We're going away from the south end. That does have some images.
There's some render images, what that could look like. Of course, no vegetation shown. It's just the construction elements. You can see the shade structure and kind of how that would look. Both on the north side, this is again on the north side, right here. And the two box renderings are from the southern splash pad and path. It certainly gives your pool a thoroughly modern and updated look. And, both sides of the pool will be unrecognizable compared to today. I think the media fencing of the fresh will be coated so it'll be a real crisp and nice fence to go with these colorful shade structures. And it's a really pretty good size facelift for the whole facility. And I think it's got a cohesive design. I think that's, if I was going to say anything about what we've done since the last time we got together, I think it was just the fact that it has become more of a holistic design versus just a little bit here and a little bit there. We've kind of balanced it and brought everything together into one good complex for, I think, a reasonable cost.
Could you go back to the other slide? Could you zoom into each one of those panels a little bit for me? Sorry, it's kind of
Sure.
hard to.
So yeah, keep in mind the colors on these shade structures. That's just diagrammatic. You know, they're probably not the BL that could be. Certainly, there's a richness that comes from adding some greenery in here, and that's certainly. And we're working with the light pole locations to make sure that at night when you have these on, you're not having too much shade from shade structure. Don't obscure the scope of the lighting with the shade structure. That's kind of some of the last details we're working on.
And the shade structures do exist outside of your existing pool deck, so we'll be getting into that.
And we scrapped the mound with the turf, AstroTurf.
We're going to have it down the south end with the splash pad.
Trying to focus on money and
Yeah,
area where it gets most use. But I think we can integrate some pattern in the paving to differentiate what is old and what is new. Give it Parkley. I don't think we'll get the trip too much on the north side. Plus, yeah, I think you're still going to see a big impact.
And now those shade structures are ones that are off the shelf, or those cut. Okay.
Yeah,
Those cone ones.
both of them are. They're both the rectangular and the circular shape. Those are standard. In fact, we already got engineered drawings from a supplier on those and gave them the shape.
What's the opinion on the stone benches down by the splash pad? A, nay, too many?
I like them. I just know there's just being at the pool, there is a lot of people looking for seats, or there's always people. I see a lot of adults just sitting on the ground, and so I think more the seating, the better for parents and stuff.
And I can tell you out at our splash park at McLaughlin Park, seating is, we didn't have it in the beginning, and adding just some rock boulders similar to what you've got there was wonderful. And we did also put out some benches, but they were very appreciative of having something to sit on as opposed to just the ground. So yeah, I like it.
Soft seating?
Have what?
Soft seating, or is it all hard?
It's
Yeah.
stone.
No cushions. No, it's, I mean, just regular park benches and then the boulders.
What is the cost on the boulders versus putting just benches?
I know those limestone benches, they I think just one of those benches. A lot of it just depends how much you.
And just your comment, standard bench. I mean, you're 1,200.
1,200. Yeah.
1,200 for surface mount.
That's what we're running into currently.
Yeah.
And that's a reasonably priced
Hard
one.
coated.
Yeah. Mhm.
And that's probably closer to the fully installed price because you got a good sized piece of equipment.
Sure.
Move those, locate them, make sure they're at the level. There's a little bit on the install side. But there's, don't have to worry about the powder coating thing on that.
Yeah,
That's why they say these are long lasting for the entrances. Vandalized.
I did have one comment on the limestone because, early in the process, we talked about using them kind of in a natural setting. Almost in a bowl, but in a rocky area and kind of it feels more part of the landscape. Whereas if you look at this rendering, this is a hardscape. It's kind of a refined, the hexagons are angular and there's a design to it. So I want to revisit the limestone here and see if there maybe isn't something that does the same thing as the limestone, but isn't a big rough block sitting on the concrete. That might be.
Could you put some of those on the turf and kind of spread it out a
Maybe
little
so.
bit?
Maybe they just ring the turf or something. Sitting out on the concrete like this feels more bench-like and not very much like landscaping. So that's just a detail we probably need to work out.
And-
Unless you guys are married to the limestone.
well, I think even maybe doing different color around on the concrete where a limestone's going to be placed might help soften that a little bit
Yeah,
too.
it's, in my mind, I think of limestone's kind of, it's,
Yeah.
you guys know what it looks like. They're more in a natural setting, and this is more urban, if you will. But there's probably ways to do a cast stone thing, where you get the same durability, same weight, same feel, but it's better with the concrete. Just something we'll probably look at.
Okay.
Yeah, very well might.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll throw that out there.
And is that turf going to be raised at all, or is it just going to be there?
So we did some thinking about the raised turf, the berm, and because of the shape of this, I think by the time you raise it, you come down the other side, or it gets really complicated. So I think you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck with a flat turf. It's still really going to be a great fiber, very useful. There's something there's enough room.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see a lot of families just laying the towel out or laying on this. If they want to sun tan or any of those things, or if it's your splash pad.
I think kids just running on it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kids running. Yeah, just kids just run circles.
Is there any question that anything we need to look at for this? I've got the model here. We can have Brian talk about the splash pad a little bit, or we can. I guess if you got any questions about the site.
I have a question. So maybe you already talked about this and I missed it, but you'll be able to gain entry into the splash pad from the outside, right? And you'll be able to gain entry into it from the pool side, right?
Yeah.
So how do we make sure people don't just walk straight through?
Yeah.
It's,
So-
it's an operation, it's during season, the outside gates are closed, and the inside gates open, so you have to go through the main way, get your admission, you have access to the splash pad. The outside gates are open in the off season, so like, you can go on your splash pad first of May, your gates are closed, people use the splash pad, then when pool opens, you switch, in the season, like the splash pad, if you go right now, still be open, or pool sucks.
Okay, I just wanted to make
It's
sure.
just a switch operation.
Thank you.
Or even just depending upon the hours, I mean, if the pool's closing at, 2 p.m. or 5 p.m. and the splash pad wants to be open until, 9, like the McLaughlin one or something, then we can always work with, the rec and all their pool staff on just
I
opening
do
the
like
gate,
the
locking the
sidewalks
Okay.
leading
you.
up into that. I'm incorporating that.
Have you guys?
Anything else?
Yes, I know when we talked about doing away with the baby pool, we talked about creating kind of a rental space over there, kind of a divided area, kind of where the entry of this entry sidewalk goes to the splash pad. How have you guys addressed that, or is it
changed yearly?
okay? That's what I
It's a-
wanted to hear. If it was had been addressed, where's
Basically cut off from here now.
oh okay.
Yeah, this is probably the best way to see
Rick
it.
can catch me up. That's fine.
Okay.
See there.
Sorry, I think you missed the one
Last
yesterday.
minute change here in the last day or two, so.
Very good. Okay.
But now, as far as the separate shade structure over where the kiddie pool was, that's not.
There's your kiddie pool, and, not budgeted for anything there. But certainly could add something. I think an alternative. Just to see what pricing would be, and just where we're at. The entire going to the splash pad is 88. So you could just pay close attention to that. Good.
What, Blake? I mean, what would you do? Two smaller shade structures and say you can rent out the blue or the yellow, and
What, that's just that, your pool, I can't remember which one it was, but it was the last pool I think we went to. It had the kind of parties in the back.
You can do, obviously, for operations, you can pull multiple ideas. You could have at least one shade structure put in place there, and that becomes the original shade structure, or two smaller ones, you can have just a couple tables. You know, really, the sky's the limit of what you want to do and what you want to do.
Yep.
Moving the waiting pool area does give you more deck space for your session area. We even talked about possibly if you had something there, you can move the tables out. Real space actually underneath the roof. Which kind of put it out, that could be your parking space, while the concession stuff, tables move out. So you really have a lot of operational options with that space open for you.
That'd be easier to block off.
I think removing that fence. So I mean, right now it feels like the concession stand is kind of hidden.
Yeah.
It's not in the flow. When you're standing in the pool, at least just from my perspective. Because you got a fence and then a fence and a fence, and this is very okay. Is that the concession that I go, or
I think that's a good idea.
What are your thoughts on there's an existing fence between the kiddie pool and the big pool.
we're on site? We said, yeah, let's just remove this fence, and then somebody said, oh, well, there's a junction box, so I don't know how to work around that.
So you're taking the whole fence, not only just around the kiddie pool, but also in the concession stand area?
That's the question. We're not showing that fence there anymore. It certainly should be added back, but
But if you want to rent that out as a space, what's gonna,
Well, I mean, they're all the Wichita ones are open. You
Okay.
just put like on the tables or the area, say this is, you could put like a cones or something that say this is reserved for a party at 3, or is that typically how you did it?
There's reserved tables.
what point of reserving the table, like when the pool's open?
You're guaranteed to
Like
have
like
that
to have a
space.
pool party, like if you wanted that area during the day, it'd be at a lower cost than renting the whole pool out.
Gotcha.
So instead of spending, how much does they rent the pool now? 100.
For like a pool party, it depends, like 175 to 250.
Yeah, 175 to 250. Where that's expensive for a family. So if you can rent out a space for what was it, 25 or 50 bucks?
$30, $50, depending on what you want to do.
Just another option.
it's a great idea. By the way, this is a good view for you to see what we're proposing for the replacement of the board that covers up your concessions window. So we're going to propose doing a storefront with it. Secure.
That would be for all 3 windows.
What size is it? Sorry, I can't see. Make sure Blake it's whatever size that.
Yeah.
It fills the existing opening. Where it's intended. We're going to lower the sill, the window, so that it's accessible. And we're just going to fill what's left.
The 3 windows. Where's the other window?
One around on the concessions side.
Do they actually use that one though?
That's where the kids usually, like, if we cook hot dogs or pretzels, that's where they hand them out at. So that they're not backing up the main line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not hard to see, but it's.
That's the
it's sort of
entrance,
right
yeah.
inside there.
That's the entrance.
Yeah.
It's the pay window.
There's
see
your
that, yeah.
concession.
Okay.
And it helps with airflow through there since there's no AC.
Oh. I've never seen that thing open. Okay.
Not very often do they do it.
Didn't know there were even.
I didn't even know it worked.
That looks fantastic.
I-
I drive like an expert.
Yeah.
It's not normally like this.
Good job.
I think having that all open, I mean, it just add to the
Yep.
to the refreshed, revitalized feel. They just got to keep the inside clean now.
They want AC too.
They want AC.
We'll give 'em a little
Yeah,
window.
we'll give them an AC, the one you plug into the wall, fan,
All right, well, hey,
1960s version.
if there's not any major questions, I might have Brian talk us through if you want, just kind of the splash pad. I don't know, it's been a while since we looked at the equipment that's being used.
Just real quick on the windows,
Yeah.
materials. Talk to me a little bit about what you're proposing there.
Aluminum.
I mean, are they glass or are they going to be some sort of a glass break resistance? I think we'll
I
look
see
at
you're
that.
talking teenagers moving these windows up and down. I could see one of them.
I'm
getting-
not worried about the people working there. I'm not worried about the people hopping over the fence and breaking the windows and throwing the rocks or whatever,
Trying to get something.
the vandalism trying to get in.
Yeah, I can see
Get
that
those
too.
fruit snacks.
Well,
Get them fruit snacks, that's
Yeah,
right.
fruit snacks, that's
I will
right.
say there's other ways to do this too. I mean, Gary and I talked
Yeah.
about options like doing a hall metal door in there.
Mhm.
That you just open the hall metal door and it's just open. I mean, so the windows just,
Windows would be very nice, don't get me wrong. I'm just thinking like what we have to deal with from the vandalism standpoint.
Good
Anyway,
point.
There's a couple of different windows. There's the
Uh-huh.
single sash that raises up. There's the slider along, you slide to the side, but then that
Cut your window in half.
doesn't have.
and not to get hung up on it now, but that's something I think we ought to visit about a little bit more.
Yeah.
A horizontal door that swings back 180. We also talked about maybe you just cut it all the way down and just do a Dutch door where the top of the door opens, or the bottom of the Dutch door, but it could open all the way.
Most cost effective. Hey Todd, most cost effective.
Leave it open and be on the buses. No, I think they're all in that. $5,000 to $10,000 range in there. Polycarbonate glass, this one's having a break with PVC. There's a lot of different options.
vandalism that's a tough one because if you put a window there, depending on how aggressive they are.
And there's a lot of rocks around there.
Yes,
So,
there are.
I mean, I think it's, you guys want to go to something that's gonna be preferable, we do the hall metal door, you open it, your business, shut it, close it.
Also, upper coiling door.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the coil like we have in the lobby way of.
Brian?
Yeah.
I'm going to punt and ask Brian, since he's worked at, for City of Wichita and seen what they've had to deal with. We dealt with the break-in on our tour, but what do they generally use? Rolled out the metal.
You got those tested annually, huh?
Sorry?
You got those tested annually, I guess.
They got tested quite a bit. The public tested it for us.
Well, they're not rated, so you don't have to worry about that.
Not really.
Fire rating or something. We're good on that.
All works.
Yeah.
The idea of the roll out door. That's a good point.
Really glad you mentioned it, though. We were plowing ahead of class, so.
Yeah.
If that's a concern, we need to.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Real quick, looking at some of the features on the splash pad site. You guys are sure there's kind of a mix of mostly it's going to be a lot of ground sprays. There is a sensory table. It's called the Cascade River. It's one of those where kids can play with it, control the flow, see how water flows through the system, and then it has the Luna system, which is a little archway over on the other side. It also has little flows to it that spin that kids can play with. So those are the more tactile, the interactive features, and the rest are just the sprays that can just go up and provide water. So it's good. It's a nice area for what we're looking for your clients. It's going to give them that nice, zero water area for the kids to play in. I think it's gonna be it's a nice addition to the pool. Any questions on any of those exact features, or I mean, there's sprays that come up, they feel good.
Are they different types of sprays?
There's at least 3 different types of sprays
Okay.
on there. Some will be like little bubblers, some will be like the more that kind of come up, just a few feet. Then there's one that's the big kind of gusher that you see. The big guys are in the back. You want to got to mix it up a little bit.
How many total sprays and stuff? I'm trying to compare. How many do we have in McLaughlin? They're just sprays and those things.
We have 7 or 8 different stations.
This is currently at 12. They are playing with, so they're working on the piping right now with the pumps and kind of seeing like what works with flow rates. And they're going to try to see if we can maybe squeeze in 1 or 2 more here and there. They did take out the lights. We first were talking about maybe like lighted ones. We swapped those out. They did save quite a bit of money on the different sprays. So we can be able to do a little more sprays than what we were looking at originally, which is nice.
That's great. Yep, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm going to show that real quick. Was working with Neil the other day. Good news is we did some hydrostatic testing, Neil and his crew, and the pool itself is holding water. We don't really have a lot of concerns with the piping or with the basin. The gutter would still be questioned, but that's something we're going to be working on anyway. So the pool itself is holding water pretty well. So that's really good news. We were afraid that we'd have to look into that. Send it over to Todd to look at some issues we want to repair in the basin, but we're not having to rip out concrete and deck space and try to chase leaks and pipes. So that was good news. We will be putting the splash pad mechanical systems under. We're going to extend the rip out of the storage shed and put a fence around that with slats, and then that's where the filter and the pumps will be housed. That way it's easy to access for the staff to check on stuff when they need to, do backwashing, stuff like that, get it going. And it gives us a nice space. We're not taking up any of the storage area that's already in space, and we're not going to go try to fit more equipment into the existing mechanical area. Yeah, it'll all be outside. Nice air flow.
I think the pieces are starting to come together. Sounds like you guys are happy with. Oh, thanks. Sounds like you guys are happy with the direction and kind of where we're landing with this. So our plan is, like I said, that we'll finish up the details, finish up the engineering, get everything lined up and on sheets, and get it over to the guys in McCown Gordon. We're planning on doing that next week, so it's going to happen quick. And then they're going to run with that, and I think they've got some dates maybe that might be of interest to you. Bring this over to you.
I know you're handing out prizes.
Yeah, so we were planning on, we got drawings on September 16th, which is Friday. We would have a 3-week bid process, get everything out to bid. We're thinking of having our bid day on October 11th. And then ready to review that meeting with you guys on October 19th. So the fall committee meeting. Questions on that?
Sounds great.
I have a question. Can that explain why bid date 11th and then share with them on the 19th? What are you doing?
Yeah, so we're vetting out our bids. Typically, every partner subcontractor bids, we're going through scoping everybody out line by line, making sure everybody's apples to apples. Versus at the end of the day, we're giving you guys a guaranteed maximum price. So we want to make sure.
And when are we setting that guaranteed maximum price for this phase of the project?
I would assume after our rec committee meeting on the 19th, the following week would be.
That's probably more of a procedural question of who has the authority to execute that First Amendment on the this committee, or if it's this council. council. Okay, so then what we would do is the approval on the bids that were presented. Prepare a GP and then council approval.
Sounds great.
And when would everything start construction or destruction?
Part of the bid process too is we're going to get feedback from the subcontractors of what their material procurement time is. Things we're still in the design phase, we're not sure, what model of chlorinator we're using, pumps and all of that. That'll just be part of that process. So we'll have a schedule included that's part of that GMP amendment that we'll present that will detail the construction start and completion dates.
But generally speaking, and just in my mind, January, February, March. March.
I think in our head, we're looking to start in that right after the first of the year, just looking at kind of the amount of work that needs to be done and the sequence we're running. We'd like to start right around the first of the year, just get everything opened up.
Thank you.
The only other thing that I wanted to touch on before we're done tonight is just the progress on the aquatics and fitness building. And currently, Count Gordon is working through cost estimating on the program. And we're actually going to have a meeting towards the end of this week with the group to kind of go through the program, go through the cost estimate, and take a look at the steps to move forward on that. When we're able to develop the steps moving forward, we'd like to get back together as a committee, share those with you. And so I think what I think would work best is if we table our meetings for the time being until we have the information we want to share with you, and then just call that meeting, put it out on the table, let you guys hear it. That's kind of the plan going forward on the aquatics and fitness center, if that works for you guys.
Sounds great.
Awesome. Other than that, that's all we have. Thank you for hearing.
Any questions for SJCF or Count Gordon for items A and B? No. Sorry, go ahead.
If you start construction in January.
Yeah, the pool portion would be the splash pads going to entirely depend upon the equipment.
But at least the pool will be open.
Yes.
Yeah. Operational, ready to go.
That's gonna be our hang up, if you open the pool, you fill in the waiting pool, and the splash pad's not open, that's what we'll get.
How many use the
Todd will
kiddie
get it
pool?
done. No, yeah. I mean, as long as we have pool water for the kids to be in, we will. I mean, it'll be an issue, but we'll work through it.
On the sprinkler system in the park.
Yeah, there you go. Turn on the sprinklers in the park. There's your splash pad.
Whatever works.
Natural play, right?
It's truly not
nature
heavily
play.
used.
We're identifying with the splash pad the items that need to be ordered pretty quickly. Pumps are going to be the number one. It needs to be ordered first, and then filter after that. Features, these are all pretty standard features. We're not worried about supply lines or even pipes with them. It's the main thing though are the pumps and the filters, which is why we've got them selected. If they're doing the price on them now, we're going to be one of the people on those as soon as possible.
Yeah. Order
Even
those
if you
now.
don't see ground moving until January, product's already going to be ordered.
As you've seen in the sales tax revenue, there's plenty there. Order now if you need to. If we need to throw that on separately, by all means, that's why we're going through this process and not just your design bid build. So if you need to order those Friday, order them. All right.
An invoice there.
You heard him. It's on tape
I
now.
saw that
It's
look.
permanent.
It's on YouTube.
Record.
There you go. All right. Anything else on the A and B? Moving right along for Roger. All right. Item C, general discussion. Generally speaking, nothing. All right. Well, we've come to that time of the meeting for item number 7.
What about next meeting?
641.
Just to be tabled?
Yeah, it'll be
Next meeting?
tabled, and then
Okay.
we'll let you know when they
Right,
have
okay.
more
I
information
didn't
to
know
share.
if we were having a meeting about the,
That one would be for council meeting if we want to visit on it. It's kind of
Okay.
everything we've already discussed. It's
okay,
just more or less just the contractual phasing of.
that's
the-
fine,
of the
that's
meeting.
fine. Yeah, I wasn't sure if we were having a meeting to approve what they had come up with and then it be turned over to council or not. So I wasn't sure about that. So,
Probably could depend upon timing. When we get everything done. And,
Okay,
And then if
that's
we
fine.
feel, since Wednesday seemed to work for everybody, seeing how that works out.
okay, second,
I'll hold off on that for a second because I apologize. I screwed up a little bit here on general discussion. Welcome our new member, Tina Payne. Thank you for joining us. Is there any big questions? I'm gonna put you on the spot. Very young. Very young.
I have a lot of good memories there as a kid.
Well, welcome and thanks for being a part of it. All right, 6:42 now. We kept it one more minute long. Is there a motion?
second.
Is there a motion by Stan? Thank you, Stan. Seconded by Stuart. All those in favor adjourning at 6:42 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you all. Have a great night.